Greetings, Mega Man fans, and welcome back to the Mega Man Rock Force LPA. In this episode, we'll be going into the final stage of the game. More specifically, Justice Man Stage 3. Also the longest and the hardest stage this game has to offer. In fact, it's enough of a long haul that I will be splitting this video into at least 3 parts. This part of the video will be dealing with the stage itself. And to begin with, the stage theme here is Kevin's Stage 50. A fitting theme for the final stage here, as while it definitely has a lot of energy to it, it also gives us, it's also nicely epic. It has a sense of finality to it that really helps make the theme work for this stage. And I like that. I really like that. Another thing I like about this stage is that it uses the gimmicks that we have previously faced, as well as enemy types that we have previously faced, in new and dangerous combinations. And it definitely doesn't start us off like in nice happiness, sunshine, and rainbows. That entertainer pulse wave pit rod combo is one of the single most dangerous combinations this stage throws at us. The Yoku blocks, meanwhile, aren't so bad. The pulse wave that was present back there helps make it a lot easier to make the otherwise near pixel-perfect jumps. And there's a little divot below the pair of Yoku blocks that appear above each other, so on the off chance you get caught there, you aren't killed, you're just dropped onto that little divot. Assuming, of course, you don't move like you might be tempted to. The pit rod down there manages to make an impressive obstacle. Not only making it so running against the pulse wave there is actually a real trick, the pit rod also works to limit your movement while dealing with Sniper Joe, making him a little bit more hectic than he usually is. Now, Iron and Circuit, if you're playing your cards right, can be killed off with very little difficulty, and then you can still have it all set up so that you can still solve the puzzle with not quite so many shots. That being said, there's enough time-sensitive platforming in this room that if your reflexes aren't as sharp as they could be, you may have a bit of a difficult time. This room, on the other hand, is a lot easier to deal with. The main thing about it is that you don't want to hesitate. If you opt to not hesitate, though, this place clears itself out easily enough. Now, we have even more gimmicks. Transporters, along with the light bulbs, and the Taker to boot. And now transporters with Yoku blocks. Time it right, and it's easy enough to get back down there, but don't jump too high on that last jump. That transporter there will be all too happy to catch you and make it so you wasted some precious seconds. I actually kind of like that concept, though, with using the transporter to catch players off guard and not, like, you know, deposit them into the abyss. I quite like that concept. This is also an interesting concept with Circuit Man's circuit blocks and the light catchers. Love Me Not also gets a really good position here, as not only are you right next to where the petals are going to start falling, you end up putting yourself right in range of Love Me Not's firing to begin with. The booby blocks, by contrast, almost seem a bit too easy to deal with, since you can just see them. So they're not as much of a threat as they normally would be. This section I find more annoying than anything. It takes me a while to get through it because, I'll be perfectly honest, I'm a complete, utter coward here. So I don't like to do that jump if I can avoid it. That being said, though, still plenty doable. Just need to hope the RNG's on your side, or otherwise it's going to take forever and a half. What doesn't tend to take forever and a half is Tube Tank. As I shall take care to demonstrate, he can be slaughtered really rather easily. Now, this room is, in my opinion, one of the trickiest rooms the stage has to offer. That was not how to do this room. For the longest time, I actually had no idea how I was supposed to solve the room. I was basically running on what essentially meant the only reason I was getting through it at all was basically blind luck. Essentially, I was doing it remarkably wrong. However, I figured it out. That top Rotomoda in the end section here, don't waste your time trying to kill it. Generally speaking, it won't hit your hitbox. And that Taker right there is a nice little reminder how it behaves, as well as another Taker that tried its absolute best to wreck your face. But anyway, shock floors make a return, which nice to see them coming back. Don't worry, it's not the last we see of them at all. Oh, heavens now. Taker, though, gets one more little shot at our heads. And when paired with Sniper Joe, well, he's a nasty one. That is probably one of the trickiest combinations present in this level. Elite times 2, on the other hand, nowhere near as vicious as it could be, as clearly demonstrated. That was probably one of the worst times I've had against that Elite times 2 combo. Incidentally, of course, if you've played Warman stage, you've already fought 2 elites teamed together like that. So it's not exactly what I would call unfamiliar. And this light bulb right here is very useful. Don't forget it's there. Because otherwise, this section can be a lot harder than it actually needs to be. Bye, Iron! Okay, there. And now this reflective surface is used to get this last shot in right here. And there we go! That's the stage! Through here, through this teleporter, is going to be the second part of our level. Now, as I'm sure a number of you recall, this stage was originally a lot different. In fact, it originally used exactly one section from each of the original 8 stages. And that was kind of boring. Like, I won't lie, it was boring. But I will note that for those who say it was just a lazy copy and paste, speaking as someone who's toyed with Game Maker a little himself, I can safely say that that was actually probably more effort than it was to actually just build a brand new stage. Anyway, the stage itself is a really, really challenging one. It is a far greater test of skill than any other stage this game has to offer. It is doable with just the Buster, as I clearly demonstrated. But, wow, is it ever a doozy. In fact, it was originally even more of a doozy. Or, like, originally, there was a really nasty trick jump you needed to do in this room back here, in order to survive it. The testers made sure that jump didn't slip past, because Ah, that was really, really, really nasty. So glad it wasn't there. This is a fun level. It is a tough as nails level, but it's really engaging. You really need to be focused as you go through here, otherwise, you're gonna die, mate. In fact, as you all saw, I ended up dying because I ended up making a slip in at least one room. I think I probably died even more. I don't remember. I've done so many takes at this one stage, it's gotten kind of annoying. Anyway, on that note, let's just peek in here, and oh look! Robot Master rematches. I'm not going to be doing them in this video, but rather, I will touch upon the Robot Master rematch in the next video. So, until then, thank you all very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed Justice Man's stage, and I will see you for the second part of this 3-part video, where we take on the Robot Master rematch and actually go over the weapon set present in this game. Until then, goodbye!